Hi there, welcome to the first ever Just Business here on DarkBad TV, the show in which we discuss the state of the video games industry. My name is Endigo, and I'm so stoked to finally be able to get this show running. If you have no idea who I am, my name is Endigo, and I'm normally a musician and a YouTuber, doing my own thing over at my own channel, over at my own little corner of the internet. My own channel consists mostly of, well, music, vlogs, and some gaming related videos. Long story short, I've done a lot of different projects throughout my years, but the one thing that I've never done that I've always wanted to do is a show where I talk about, well, the video games industry. You see, I've always loved going on all these websites like IGN and Game Trailers and GameSpot and just reading all the reviews, watching all the previews, and all the kind of stuff. In fact, I actually started subscribing to the official PlayStation magazine here in Sweden when I was about 5 years old. I absolutely loved getting those magazines in my mailbox once every month and just reading them through and through, every single article, all these questions that people could send in and just everything. However, with time, I started noticing myself reading the magazines less and less, despite still liking them a fair bit. I noticed myself gradually taking the time I used to read the magazines, but going on GameSpot and IGN instead and reading their similar articles. Not that I didn't like the magazine, I just found it more convenient to just start reading on the internet instead, because that's the way things were going. Before long, these new websites became the new giants and printed media was pretty much dead. Where something like game reviews used to be mainly written in magazines and on these websites, suddenly video reviews became a thing, and not just a thing, it became the industry standard. But as I'm sure none of you have really missed, during the last few years, YouTube has really taken the main focus of games media. All of these huge sites I mentioned, IGN, Game Trailers, GameSpot, all of them are now also running their own YouTube channels right by the side of their actual websites. But even more than that, Let's Players have really taken the spotlight in a way that I don't think anybody actually imagined a few years ago. Honestly, more kids today probably know of PewDiePie than I've ever heard of IGN. Take for example the game Destiny that launched last year, a huge game selling millions and millions of copies. The review of Destiny published by Game Trailers currently sits at about 67,000 views, whereas the one published by IGN currently sits at about 1 million views. But the one published by Angry Joe, an independent YouTuber doing his own thing not tied to these big companies, his video currently sits at about 5.8 million views. Another example is The Last of Us for the PS3, where IGN's review currently sits at about 1.8 million views, Angry Joe's review sits at about 2.8 million views, but PewDiePie's Let's Play sits at a staggering 13 million views. And you can really see traces of these trends as these huge medias, IGN and such, have also started doing Let's Plays these days, because let's face it, that's the way the industry is heading. Another huge trend that's going on that I haven't really touched on yet is the fact that a lot of these huge media outlets, editors and hosts have started going solo. About a year ago, we had IGN's 4 primary hosts and editors, Greg Miller, Colin Moriarty, Tim Geddes and Nick Scarpino, all leave IGN at the same time to start their own thing called Kinda Funny. Kinda Funny is essentially their own YouTube channel where they do pretty much the same thing, reviews and Let's Plays, but they're not tied up by the big companies anymore. And they are doing terrific. Another example is Jim Sterling, formerly of Destructoid and The Escapist, who also left his former employment to go do his own thing on YouTube called The Jimquisition, and he's also doing terrific. Now I'm just wondering when Kyle Bossman of GameTrailers.com is gonna leave his employment to go do his own thing on YouTube. Part of me really hopes he's not gonna leave because they're a great team over there at Game Trailers, but I'm just saying if he would leave, he would be huge on his own. In conclusion, games media has changed. I believe there's still a place for all these classic media outlets out there, but as YouTube has been growing more and more, it's become more than just a website for people to upload their videos. YouTube is now a platform. YouTube is the new TV. If you get what I mean. Anyway, that's the show for this week. I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Just Business here on DarkBad TV. We're still trying out everything and trying out the format, so please leave a comment and tell us what you think. We could really use all the feedback now in the beginning. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, nothing personal, it's just business. See you next week.